You wrote recently comparing some of the Republicans and the demonstrators to killjoys, and I think you've made comparisons with Cromwellian Puritans. Tell me your strand of thought.
Well, my strand of thought is that the kind of activist and protesting wing of republicanism is the minority. I completely accept all those points about how there is a growing apathy towards the monarchy. But I think in terms of the people who go out on protests and are engaging with that argument in a very organised way, I think there is a certain killjoyish element, because they often, I notice, seem to object to any kind of ceremonial grandeur, pomp, ceremony, all of that stuff. But in fact, in many countries which have already done away with their monarchies, such as France, they often retain a great amount of the pomp and ceremonial. You know, President Macron has just brought in a new law mandating that all civic buildings have to have a massive portrait of him. I think that this strand of republicanism doesn't really engage with the fact that humans, you know, even a kind of anthropological argument that humans do crave a certain amount of ritual. Their movement seems to be based on just taking stuff away and not replacing it with something that is more hopeful. So I would say in that respect, it's kind of distinct from the general apathy towards the monarchy that we see, which I think is far more likely to be the thing that does ultimately doom the monarchy than any kind of organised movement.
Yeah, although we pride ourselves, we always say, oh, nobody does this as well as the British. I have some doubts about that myself. I mean, for example, you know, I've seen a lot of the United States military. The United States military is extremely sharp on parade, and they have some absolutely fantastic rituals. Or for that matter, I mean, if you look at Russia, which is certainly not a monarchy, you know, you have parades which, you know, are very, very capturing. They are remarkable elements. So I think people who associate ritual with monarchy are absolutely barking up the wrong tree, which is one of the points that you were making.
Yes, exactly. And actually, one of the reasons that I support the monarchy very strongly is that I think that it gives a channel in which to express a patriotic sentiment that is not militaristic so much. It's not as aggressively nationalistic. It's something that is more, I suppose, warm and kind of apolitical. And you pick your poison. If you don't have a monarchy, I think you'll see it expressed in some other way. And I personally think that monarchy is the best way for us to do it. It ties in with our history. And compared to, you mentioned that those polling results earlier about the growing apathy, which is absolutely true. But there's also been a massive general disillusionment, especially amongst young people, towards basically all institutions. You know,
Yes.
Politics, especially the media. Don't even get me started on the media, and the police. So I think that, you know, you have to kind of see it in that context as well, that there is this growing apathy. And compared to many other aspects of public life, the monarchy is not doing too badly.
But apathy is very dangerous, and you are a self-declared monarchist. And I put it to you that, you know, Queen Elizabeth II was a very remarkable monarch, not least because of her longevity and because she never put a foot wrong. So, you know, many people were invested in her. So you might say that they were Elizabethan rather than monarchist. She's now been replaced by someone, you know, with a more varied track record, and he's come to the throne in his mid-70s. This is not the ideal scenario. You know, if you were a PR company, this is not the way you would plan it. Do you think apathy is dangerous?
Yes, I do. I really do. It's a very good point about the Queen vis-a-vis the King. Although I do think in many ways the King has been incredibly foresighted with issues that are now dominating public discourse, environmentalism and the danger of having dysfunctional families and there not being activities for young people and all of this. He was way ahead of the curve.